Hello everyone, this is Fadi and I'd like to welcome you to a continuation of this series about Islam and atheism, and today we are going to take another look at one of the moral actions of the Prophet of Islam. With me here in studio as always, Dr. David Wood, to explore this. Welcome back, brother.
Good to be here, Al.
What is the topic of today?
Torture.
You
Torture.
mean, as in torturing people?
As in torturing people. Torture.
Okay.
Is it right or is it wrong?
Well, let's find out.
Yeah, well, I mean, there could be some debate, like if you catch a terrorist who he's planted a nuclear bomb and it's about to kill millions of people or something like that, do you torture him to find out, how to stop it or something like that? I think that's a legitimate discussion that people could have. But if you were to say, should you torture someone to find out where he's hidden money? Should you torture someone to get some money out of him?
As in robbery, right?
Yeah, I think most people would say, no, you shouldn't be torturing people to get money out of them. Well, guess who did have someone tortured to get some money out of him?
Wow, I don't want to guess. Is it Muhammad?
Yeah,
Again?
Unfortunately, it's Muhammad. It's
done
always
it again.
Muhammad. It's always Muhammad. All right, let's go ahead and look at the passage and see what I'm talking about. This is Ibn Ishaq, page 515. Kinana al-Rabi, who had the custody of the treasure of Banu Nadir, was brought to the apostle, who asked him about it. He denied that he knew where it was. So basically, Muslims conquered this tribe of Jews, and they know that this guy knows where some treasure is hid. So he denied that he knew where it was. A Jew came to the apostle and said that he had seen Kinana going around a certain ruin every morning early. When the apostle said to Kinana, "Do you know that if we find you have it? Do you know that if we find you have it, I shall kill you?" He said, "Yes." The apostle gave orders that the ruin was to be excavated and some of the treasure was found. So this guy was lying, saying he didn't know where the treasure was. They found some of the treasure. When he asked him about the rest, he refused to produce it. So the apostle gave orders to al-Zubair al-Awam, torture him until you extract what he has. So he kindled a fire with flint and steel on his chest until he was nearly dead. Then the apostle delivered him to Muhammad bin Maslama, and he struck off his head in revenge for his brother Mahmud, who had died. So this man, Kinana, knows where some treasure is hid, but he doesn't want to tell Muhammad. So Muhammad said, Muhammad does a little inquiry and finds out that this guy knows where some treasure is. They found some of the treasure. He wants to know where the rest of it is. The guy refuses to tell Muhammad where it is. Muhammad says, torture him until you find out where it is.
Right.
And then he has one of his followers light a fire on the man's chest until he's nearly dead, and then they chop his head off. And so basically, if someone believes it's wrong to torture someone for money, notice it again. This is a kind of robbery, right? I'm taking your possessions. I want to know where the money's at, and I'm going to torture you until you hand it over. If for some reason Muslims will look at that and say, "Oh no, it's perfectly justified." If they were to hear about this in some other situation, right? Like if they were to hear about the war in Iraq, and suppose some U.S. soldiers took over an area and found out that a Muslim knew where some treasure was hidden. If they held him down and lit a fire on him, it would be every Muslim in the world would condemn that. Every Muslim in the world would condemn that behavior, and yet that's what the perfect man, the ideal pattern of human conduct, that's what he was doing. So these are the kinds of things that many Muslims recognize, and they start seeing in their Muslim sources. They realize their leaders have been concealing all of this from them all their lives, and they come to find out the truth about Muhammad, and they reject Muhammad as a prophet because of the terrorism and the torture and the rape and all these things, and they just come and this is not from God, and they reject Islam. But some of those Muslims who leave Islam actually leave religion altogether. They abandon belief in the supernatural, abandon belief in God, abandon belief in miracles, and they just become atheists. What they don't realize is that in doing so, they've kind of lost their way, right? We would agree with them that you should not be torturing someone for money. We think that they have a correct moral claim there. But what happens when you become an atheist is, how can you then say as an atheist that it's objectively morally wrong to torture someone for money? As we've seen over and over again, according to atheists like Richard Dawkins, human beings are machines for propagating DNA. Dawkins said this world has exactly the properties this universe has exactly the properties we would expect it to have if there is at bottom no good and no evil. So there is no good and no evil. It's just we think of things this way. We're machines for propagating DNA, and we're wired in a certain way to help our species along. But that doesn't have anything to do with real right and real wrong. So if you go to the time of Muhammad, he viewed it as perfectly normal and okay to torture someone for money.
To extract money, basically, from them.
If you, as an atheist today, believe that it's wrong and immoral, how do you say, on what basis do you say, me, in my culture, I'm correct, and Muhammad and his culture, they were wrong? On what basis do you say that? All you can say is, well, that's how I feel, or that's what my society teaches. You can't say it's objectively wrong without some basis for saying so. And so what we find, yet again, are atheists are leaving Islam based on objecting to the behavior of Muhammad and the things Muhammad did and becoming atheists. Muslims are doing this. They're leaving Islam and becoming atheists, not realizing that because in becoming atheists, they've lost any real foundation for saying that certain things are right and wrong, other than their own feelings or
right.
the way they happen to be wired, or their culture or their society. They don't have anything beyond that. And so all of the reasons that they give for rejecting Muhammad, all of the behaviors they point to and say this is immoral, this is evil, they lose any basis for recognizing those things as immoral and evil. And so they need a new worldview. Atheists need a new worldview that actually allows them to continue rightly pointing out the atrocities that they find in the life of Muhammad. So we need to help them along there.
Absolutely, and of course I hope the point is being made clear. You left a problem into another problem. You haven't solved the problem that you were troubled by. And to say the least, that if Muhammad was extracting money by torturing people to get money from them, that's called extortion. Okay, that's a crime, and the Bible says you shall not steal. And if the Prophet of Islam, who is the model for mankind, who is basically the model for the Islamic community, who is the mercy for mankind, then we have a problem. Meet us again next time as we explore yet another one of those moral dilemmas, and we use Muhammad, of course, as the perfect example for them. Thank you, and God bless. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. We can't make these quality videos without the help of partners like you. So please consider becoming a Patreon supporter today at patreon.com/CIRA International. I want to make sure you always get notified when we release a new video. So please click the bell to be notified, and of course, make sure to subscribe to this channel. If this video was helpful to you, please click the thumbs up. Thank you.